Our story kicks off 4 whole years after the events of Part 2. 4 years since Noah and Nick broke up. Their relationship is completely over. The reason? A fatal misunderstanding. Nick saw Noah coming out of Michael's apartment and automatically assumed they were having an affair. Today, we catch up with Noah at the airport, all alone. She's on her way to her best friend Jenna's wedding. Her flight is delayed, so Noah decides to kill time in a market. And that's when fate steps in. Her eyes land on a magazine with Nick's picture on the cover. She finds out he took over his father's company in London 4 years ago, and he's become a huge success. A wave of sadness hits Noah. 4 years without a single word between them. Noah gets on the plane and accidentally spills her coffee all over a handsome guy named Simon. She apologizes profusely, and he graciously accepts, introducing himself. When they land, Simon offers her a ride, but Noah thanks him, saying she already has a car waiting. Simon smiles, says goodbye, and tells her they'll definitely meet again. And you just know fate wasn't kidding. Suddenly, Noah spots a car that looks exactly like Nick's. For a split second, her heart stops, thinking he's the one driving. That's when Noah realizes the painful truth. She is nowhere near over Nick. She's snapped out of it by Jenna, who runs up and gives her a massive hug. They're both ecstatic and hyped for the wedding. They head to Jenna's house, and that's where Noah gets the first shock. Jenna's has chosen her as the maid of honor. The bigger shock? Jenna's fiancé Leon chose Nick as his best man. Noah changes and heads down to the party, and at that exact moment, she sees Nick getting out of his car. Noah ducks out of sight before he can see her. She is not ready for this confrontation. During the party, Jenna introduces Noah to her uncle, and they start chatting. Suddenly, Nick appears and greets Jenna's uncle, but he completely ignores Noah, like she's invisible. Noah tries to shake off the sting and goes to say hi to Leon and his brother Tony. Tony is clearly interested in her and tries to flirt, but Noah politely shuts him down. She then bumps into her mom, Rafaela. In the middle of it all, Nick walks right past Noah again, and once again totally ignores her. His silence is louder than any argument. The next day, Nick and Noah are forced to go with Jenna's family to the wedding hotel. There's no other room, so Noah has to ride in the same car as Nick. The entire ride is just silence and stolen glances. Nick notices she's not wearing the necklace he gave her. Neither of them says a word until they arrive. At the wedding rehearsal, the coordinator makes Nick and Noah stand next to each other, as they are the guests of honor. Despite the tension, you can see a tiny smile on both their faces. They're both secretly happy about this, but neither wants to admit it. That night at dinner, Noah is shocked to find her seat is right next to Nick. Noah decides to break the ice and tries to talk to him, but Nick gives her no chance. He gets up to greet Tony. Even after that rejection, once dinner is over, Noah's eyes follow him, and he's watching her too. On the wedding day, everyone is overjoyed for Jenna and Leon. Nick and Noah are also genuinely happy for their friends. Then Jenna throws the bouquet, and guess who catches it? Noah, which means she's next. At the reception, everyone is dancing. Jenna and Leon decide to play Cupid and physically push Nick and Noah together to dance. It's obvious they want them to get back together. And the plan works. The spark is still there, and Nick and Noah end up spending the night together at the hotel. But the happiness doesn't last. Nick wakes up in the middle of the night and decides to leave Noah. Noah tells him she saw the note he left on his father's grave, that she memorized it, and she recites it back to him. But Nick replies coldly, "That note was probably washed away by the rain." It's a clear signal he doesn't want to get back together. He tells her that every time he looks at her, all he can remember is her betrayal with Michael. And for the second time, he leaves her. A week later, Noah goes back to her life. She gets her diploma from college and quits her restaurant job now that her internship is over. Days pass, and Noah is job hunting, finally landing a simple job in advertising. Her new job leads to a lot of accidents, and one day, a guy on a bike crashes into her, knocking her to the ground. Noah goes to the hospital, the same hospital where Michael works, but they don't see each other. At that same moment, Michael is called into his boss's office. There, the director tells Michael they discovered he had an inappropriate relationship at the university he used to work at, which is why he was fired from there. And because he hid this from the hospital board, they will vote on his termination at the next meeting. Michael is devastated and instantly knows who's behind this: Nick. A large part of the hospital's shares is owned by Nick's father's company. We cut to Nick in his London HQ. He's in a board meeting and announces a shocking decision. He's closing the company's branch in Spain and buying shares in a tech company to invest in. The board members object, as this will cause massive layoffs, but Nick coldly replies that the Spanish branch is losing money and they must adapt to technology and progress. Elsewhere, Noah's applying for a job at an AI company. She discovers by chance that the CEO is Simon, the guy from the plane. Simon immediately agrees to hire Noah for the advertising position. He was very impressed by her resume. Back in London, we see Nick at home with Sophie, the company's lawyer. It's clear they're in a relationship. Sophie asks Nick what happened between him and Noah at Jenna's wedding. Nick lies, saying nothing happened and that he treated her like a stranger. 4 months go by. Simon and Noah have grown much closer. Simon tells Noah he's incredibly excited about the new investor who's buying shares in the company. He thanks Noah, saying the proposal she prepared is what impressed the investor and made him agree so quickly. Meanwhile, Nick is in his office watching the news. Protests have erupted outside the Spanish branch. The employees who were fired without warning are furious. One of them, Sam, smashes the window of Will's car, Nick's dad, and attacks him. Security pulls him off. Sam yells to the news cameras that Will and his son shut down the company without a second thought for their lives, and he vows to get revenge. Nick notices the board members are nervous, but he reassures them, saying people will forget about this soon. Later, Nick meets with Sophie. He has a devious plan to distract the media. He suggests they announce to the press that they're in a relationship and getting engaged soon. Nick believes this story will improve his public image and get the press obsessed with something other than the layoffs. Sophie loves the idea and agrees. A week passes and Nick goes to Simon's company. The twist? Nick is the new investor who bought the company. But the bigger twist is for Nick. He discovers Noah works there. Nick gets visibly annoyed seeing her joking around with Simon in front of everyone. Nick speaks with Simon privately. He's angry that Simon is wasting money on unimportant things and also objects to Noah's presence in the company. But Simon defends her, saying she's brilliant at her job, and informs Nick that the proposal he loved so much was Noah's work. When Nick returns to London, he tells Sophie the new company is in bad shape and he'll have to focus on it. Sophie isn't really listening. She's on cloud 9 because the news of their engagement is everywhere. The next day, Noah is making fun of Nick with a coworker. Nick overhears them. He immediately calls her over and orders her to get him coffee. Nick notices how close Simon and Noah are, and he's clearly jealous. At the end of the week, Noah meets Jenna at the salon. Noah tells Jenna about Simon, saying he's a great guy. But Jenna is still Team Nick and wishes Noah would get back with him. By chance, Noah sees the magazine article about Nick and Sophie's engagement. Later, Noah runs into Michael by pure chance. She's stunned when he tells her to stay away from him and never speak to him again. He reveals that Nick used his influence and is trying to get him fired, all because of what happened 4 years ago. After Michael leaves, Noah calls Sophie. She asks that Michael never finds out about this call. Sophie agrees. Noah tells her she knows they're trying to fire Michael. Sophie replies that Michael behaved unprofessionally and must face the consequences. Noah doesn't believe her and begs her not to fire Michael. Sophie agrees and promises she'll handle it. The next day, Noah visits her mom and her husband, Nick's dad, at their home. We learn Noah still hasn't accepted her mom's marriage to Will. She's only there for Nick's sister, Maggie's birthday. Soon after, Nick arrives with Maggie. The second Maggie sees Noah, she runs up and hugs her. She spends the entire time playing and talking only with Noah. Will and Nick talk business. It's clear Will doesn't approve of Nick's recent decisions, but Nick insists he's handling everything perfectly, just in his own way. When they return to the table, Nick is annoyed to see Noah on the phone with Simon. He objects, asking why Simon is calling her after work hours. Noah snaps back that it's her personal life and he has no right to interfere. Upset by Nick's behavior, Noah excuses herself to the bathroom. There, she feels sick and starts throwing up. The next day, Nick shocks the company with a bizarre new rule. He announces that any romantic relationships between employees are strictly forbidden. Anyone who violates this rule will be fired. Simon hates this, but Nick calls him unprofessional and tells him to control his feelings at work. That night, Simon and Noah are at home. Noah is furious about Nick's new rule. She knows he did it specifically to keep Simon away from her. She's afraid Nick will fire Simon if he gets any closer to her, but Simon tells her he's willing to sacrifice his job for her. The next day, Nick and Noah meet in the company elevator. Noah notices Nick has installed cameras everywhere to monitor all the employees. Noah storms into Nick's office and tells him she's quitting. Nick scoffs, telling her she sounds like a child. He starts sweet-talking her and moves closer. Noah stops him. Careful, there are cameras, and tells him to stop. Nick assumes she's pushing him away because she's with Simon. Noah shoots back, and you're with Sophie, reminding him their engagement is public knowledge. Nick tells her he knows she still loves him, but Noah hits him with the hard truth. You don't love me. You can't, because you still can't forgive me for a mistake I made 4 years ago. And she walks out. The next day, Noah takes Maggie to see her mother, Anna. Nick shows up, trying to keep Noah away from Maggie, but Maggie insists she wants to talk to her mom. Nick agrees, and they go to a restaurant. There, Anna drops a bombshell. She tells Nick she's given custody of Maggie to Will. Nick is upset, assuming she's abandoning Maggie, just like she abandoned him when he was young. But Anna reveals the bigger shock. She has cancer. She's been hiding it for 4 years. Because of the illness, she decided to leave Maggie with Will. Anna makes Nick promise one last thing, to take care of his sister. Nick is in total shock. Noah moves closer, wanting to take his hand to comfort him, but she pulls back at the last second. Afterward, Noah returns home with Nick and Maggie. That night, Nick asks Noah to stay with him. He admits he needs her by his side. Noah tells him this won't solve their problems. It will only make things worse. But Nick says he doesn't care about anything else. He just needs her to stay. And she agrees. The next morning, Nick wakes up and Noah is gone. He rushes out of the room looking for her, but Maggie tells him Noah said goodbye and left. At that moment, Noah is driving and crying. She suddenly feels extremely sick and goes to the hospital. There she gets the shock that changes her life. She's 4 months pregnant. Noah freezes. It means she got pregnant from Nick on the night of Jenna's wedding. By chance, Michael overhears this. He seizes the opportunity, accesses the computer, and copies all of Noah's reports. Noah meets Jenna. She tells her she's pregnant with Nick's baby, but she's decided not to tell him. Jenna isn't comfortable with this. Noah explains that Nick is marrying Sophie and starting a family, and she doesn't want to burden him with this news. Although Jenna is sad for her friend, she's also happy about the baby and hugs Noah. She asks Noah to move in with her so she can take care of her during the pregnancy. Noah agrees. That night, Jenna tells Leon that Noah is pregnant with Nick's baby. She warns him not to tell Nick, as it's Noah's wish. Leon becomes very anxious. It's hard to keep a secret this huge from his best friend. The next day, Michael meets with Sophie. He tells her he knows she and Nick are firing him. Sophie says there's nothing she can do. That's when Michael plays his trump card. Nick and Noah are still together. He tells her that 4 months ago at Jenna's wedding, they hooked up, and now Noah is pregnant with Nick's baby. To prove it, he shows her the reports. Michael blackmails Sophie. If this news gets out, it will be a massive scandal for both her and Nick. He demands she stop his termination, and in return, he'll keep quiet. Sophie, completely stunned, agrees. That night, Nick and Sophie are heading to a party. In the car, Sophie asks the driver about his son. The driver says he's looking for a new job. Nick is shocked to learn that his personal driver's son worked at the very branch he decided to close. Nick feels bad, tells the driver he didn't know, and offers to hire his son at the new company. But the driver refuses, saying his son has too much pride and wouldn't accept a handout. Nick and Sophie arrive at the party. Nick is instantly annoyed when he sees Simon and Noah dancing together. A bit later, Sophie talks to Noah. She tells Noah she met with Mikhail and that she canceled his termination. Noah thanks her for her help. Simon comes over and asks Sophie to dance. Nick seizes the opportunity and approaches Noah. He asks her, "Why did you leave me?" Noah reminds him that's exactly what he did to her at Jenna's wedding. She walks away to go to the bathroom, but Nick follows her. He corners her and kisses her. He tells her he can't stay away from her. Nick notices Noah looks pale and tired, and he decides to take her home. There, Noah tells Nick he has to leave. There's nothing left between them. She tells him she's happy for him, that he's marrying Sophie, starting a family, and having kids. Nick replies, "I do want kids. With you." Noah asks, "How can you be a father to our children when you can't even forgive me?" Nick is silent. He has no answer. Noah tells him this is the perfect moment for their relationship to end, for good. Nick accepts this, says goodbye, and leaves. 2 months later, Nick's mother, Anna, passes away. Everyone gathers for the funeral. Will tries to play with Maggie to cheer her up. He gives her a toy car, but Maggie rejects it. Another kid grabs it and starts playing. Maggie runs over and starts a fight to get the car back. Will intervenes and tells Maggie not to cause trouble. Maggie gets upset with Will, but Noah stops her. She tells Maggie that Will loves her very much, but he won't support her when she's doing something wrong. Maggie angrily yells, "Will is not my father." Noah calms her down and tells her she must learn to forgive. Everyone is watching Noah and Maggie. They are amazed when Maggie actually listens to Noah and goes to play nicely with the other kids. Later, Sophie talks to Noah. She tells her that Michael knows about the pregnancy. She warns Noah that she can't hide this secret much longer. Noah tells her she's decided to leave the city and go live with her aunt in the countryside, and she's not coming back. That night, Maggie and Noah are going up to bed. Before she goes, Noah hugs her mom and Will, thanking them for everything they've done for her. Will is surprised by Noah's sudden change in attitude, and even more surprised when Maggie runs up to hug him too, calling him Dad. Nick, watching this, is overjoyed. Noah takes Maggie up to their room. Noah tells Maggie the room will be all hers now, signaling that she's leaving for good. After Maggie falls asleep, Noah goes to see Simon. She tells him she's pregnant with Nick's baby and that she's leaving town. The next day, Nick is with Sophie. Sophie is blindsided when Nick tells her he's ending their relationship. Sophie understands he still loves Noah. She tells him he needs to forgive Noah before he can be with her. She confronts him. "You always blame other people for your problems because you never admit when you're wrong." She reminds him that he just decided to break up with her, not caring how much it would hurt her. Nick approaches her and apologizes, but Sophie advises him to go to Noah, telling him Noah really needs him right now. Nick comes downstairs and smiles when he sees Maggie happily eating breakfast with Will. He knows this is all thanks to Noah. He goes out to buy a necklace, ready to win her back. At that exact moment, Michael is informed that the hospital has decided to fire him. Michael is in shock. He thought Sophie had canceled the termination. In a fit of rage, he breaks the pen he was supposed to sign the papers with. Before leaving the hospital, he notices a patient who tried to harm herself because she miscarried and lost her baby. But in reality, she's a psychiatric patient and wasn't pregnant at all. Michael gets closer and recognizes her. It's Bria, the girl Nick dated before Noah. Michael smiles. He's found his partner in revenge against Nick. We cut to Noah saying goodbye to Jenna and Leon before she leaves, but Nick arrives at the last second. He's shocked by her plan to leave. He tells her he loves her and wants to spend the rest of his life with her. But Noah hits him with the bombshell. "I'm pregnant with your child." But she tells him she doesn't want to be with him. She gets in her car and drives away. Nick gets in his car and follows her. On the road, he asks her how long she's been pregnant. She tells him she's 6 months along. Nick realizes it happened the night of Jenna and Leon's wedding. He's overjoyed at the thought of being a father. He keeps apologizing to Noah, begging her to forgive him, until she finally does. They drive to her mom's house together so she can tell her the news. Suddenly, Sam, the fired employee, appears in front of the house, and he shoots Nick. He's getting his revenge for being fired. Nick collapses and Sam flees. Noah screams and runs to Nick, terrified. Nick is rushed to the hospital. He falls into a coma for 6 whole months. His injury was critical. When he finally wakes up, Noah and his whole family are there. Everyone is relieved he's awake. Nick is even happier when he finds out Noah gave birth. 2 days later, Nick and Noah are back home. They're happy with their baby boy, who's sleeping between them. Nick gives Noah the necklace he bought her. Nick is still injured and needs rest. Noah leaves him to rest and goes to get food for the baby. Suddenly, Nick is shocked to see Bria standing in front of him. She's kidnapped his son from the crib. Nick tries to move, but he can't because of his injury. But he manages to hit the panic button, alerting the police. Noah hears the noise and runs upstairs. But Michael appears out of nowhere and grabs her. Noah fights him off and gets free. She runs into the room and finds Bria. She begs her to give back her son. But Bria refuses, saying, "You and Nick took my baby from me. Now I'm taking yours." Michael comes in and grabs Noah, trying to give Bria time to escape. Bria runs out of the room and out of the house. But she freezes in terror when she sees Nick's dog blocking her path. At that moment, Nick hits Michael with a golf club. Noah breaks free and runs after Bria. Noah tells the dog to go inside, and she starts talking to Bria, telling her she's sick and needs help. Meanwhile, Michael grabs the golf club and is about to kill Nick. But the dog arrives just in time, attacks Michael, and knocks him out the window. When Michael hits the ground, Bria is startled. Noah uses the distraction to grab her baby back. This all happens at the exact same moment the police arrive and arrest both Michael and Bria. 2 months later, Nick and Noah are having their wedding. Their whole family is there, celebrating with them. Noah throws the bouquet and Sophie catches it. She looks genuinely happy. Nick and Noah say their goodbyes as they leave for their honeymoon. Nick is stunned to see that Noah bought him a car just like his old classic one. They get in together and drive off to start their new life. And the movie ends.